Probably should get the books in a place I can reach though before we get started. That might make sense. Hi everybody, my name is Kelsey and we're about to get very, very nerdy with my August haul. So, in August, I did some damage, but not too much, like compared to previous months. It's relatively lower. I've been trying to spend less money in the last couple of months, especially on things like books, which are not a necessity, but you know me, it's hard to do that. So, I have a couple of pre-orders, and then I did do kind of a little bit of a book warehouse shop. I did it near the end of the month. I think I took you guys along with me a little bit in one of my vlogs, but I had some store credit, so basically they were free. So I basically only spent money on a couple of things in this haul, but without further ado, there's not a whole lot to get to, so let's just dive right in. The first book is my July adult book, I think. Yes. So my boxes kind of got a little bit all over the place, but this is the July adult book. I didn't do an unboxing for this, I'm pretty sure. So if you don't want to know, skip ahead a couple of minutes. But that book was this beautiful one by Chloe Gong, which is Immortal Longings. And it says here, the only way to win is to survive. It's absolutely stunning. I'll show you some beautiful overlays of it because I love these books. I think they're absolutely gorgeous. I believe this is going to be the start of a new series for this author. I've read the other one that she wrote, which is, well, she's written a couple of YA ones, but I've read the Violent Delights duology, and then I do have the first book in her Foul Lady Fortune duology. So I haven't read that one quite yet, but those are set in the same world. But I have loved the ones that I've read, and this is a brand new one. I don't really know what this one's about. I mean, I do, but I don't. It's her debut adult book, which is, I'm interested to see how that's going to change because I very much enjoyed her YA books, but her adult book, I'm wondering what's going to be different, you know? And of course, this one is inspired by something as well. This one is inspired by Antony and Cleopatra. So another Shakespeare kind of story. I don't know that one very well. Like, I know the historical characters or historical people that are Antony and Cleopatra, but I don't know a lot about them. So maybe I'll do a little deep dive before I read this just to kind of see what we're getting into. I'm just going to read you the little like blurb that it has here. So it says this is a sci-fi fantasy. Very excited about that. I have not read a sci-fi fantasy in a hot second. It's a mashup and is a body-swapping, action-packed page-turner where our characters must compete to the death in a series of lethal games. I swear I heard somewhere that vampires are in this, but maybe I made that up. Maybe I just want there to be vampires because the cover is so red. I don't really know about this one. So as always, I'll leave all the books I talk about down below so you guys can investigate a little bit more, but it's a competition of sorts, and that is very interesting to me. It's relatively short, I think, compared to her other books, so I am interested to see what this one's about, but I love me some Chloe Gong, and this is very exciting for me. The next one is from an author Patreon that I'm part of, and that is Cruel Seduction by Katie Robert. This is her most recent installment in the Dark Olympus series. So being a patron, she gives you, as part of one of your perks, she sends you a paperback copy that she does have a digital signature in. So this one is an Aphrodite story. Aphrodite and Hephaestus. So I don't know a lot about what this one specifically is about because I am a little bit behind in this series, but this series is a collection of Greek myths, basically. So each book in the series follows a different myth or a mythical character. So we've got Hades and Persephone in the first one. You've got Eros and Psyche. Like I said, this one is Aphrodite and Hephaestus. One of them is Helen, Patroclus, and Achilles. So you do have some inspiration from like the myths, but mostly you just follow all of these mythical characters, if you will. But it takes place in a modern setting. It's called, the city itself is called Olympus, and there is the 13 which run it, and they are like titles, and they are like the 13 gods and goddesses. So you've got Zeus, Hera. There is a thing in here somewhere. Here we go. So you've got Zeus, Hera, Poseidon, and Hades are the main four, and then they go out from there. So Apollo, Ares, Artemis, Athena, Demeter, things like that. And those are all titles. So once you inherit that title, then that becomes your name. And so the 13 kind of run the city, and it is got a lot. Some of it's good, some of it's bad. There's some underbelly. There's a lot of backstabbing, drama, all that kind of stuff. So this is just the next installment. I don't know a whole lot, but I got this one because it matches all my other ones, and also being part of her Patreon, she sends them out. But I'm loving this one. I think it's a Feather on Fire. I think that's what that is. I've been trying to figure out for a while, but I think that's indeed what that is. I also got a pre-order in, which you guys will have seen, and that is Never a Hero, and this is by Vanessa Lynn. This is the second in her Monsters series. The first one is Only a Monster. It came out a couple of years ago. It was in a fairy loot box that I picked up, or like one of my very first fairy loot boxes I think I got, and I ended up picking it up for one of the magical readathons. It was really, really good. And so, of course, I had to get a special edition of the second one because I loved the first one so much. And I'm hoping to get to it this month, so we shall see. But this is a series, and it follows our main character, Joan. And the first book is spending the summer, I believe. I do this every time, and I can't ever remember. I think it's her mom's side of the family. So she's spending the summer with her mom's side of the family. She's working in this like historical house. She's getting very, very close with this guy named Nick. And circumstances happen, and she discovers that she is descended from monsters. Basically what that means is in this world is they have magical abilities in some way. Every single family has a different type of ability, and then there's an ability that makes them all monsters, if that makes sense. So there's like one core ability that makes them the monster, and then each family has their added on thing. And so stuff goes down, and so she ends up teaming up with this guy named Aaron, who is from a rival family, and they basically have to figure some stuff out because some stuff went down. I know I'm being very vague, but like stuff went down and they have to like revamp some stuff. So it's very fun. It's got some time travel-y elements to it. I very much enjoyed the first one. I'm interested to see how the second one's going to go just because of how the first one ended. It's a good series where if you're not sure you like it, the first one has an ending, so you can kind of end there. There is an epilogue that kind of like gives it that next step of like, oh yeah, let's see, you know, what's next. But you can finish it on the first one. But I loved it, and I can't wait to see where it goes from here, and I love our characters. So I picked up a copy, and it's beautiful, and it has beautiful sprayed edges, and it's just, it makes me happy. So here's my pre-order. I also did a dumb thing, and I bought a Christmas book. It is September. But I was in Goodwill just picking up, I was looking at some of their dishes for a tea party that I was having, and I decided to take a look at their books. I've never really found books that I've liked there, so I didn't expect a whole lot, but I found this one. It was like a whole $1, and I was in that I've just finished Red, White, and Royal Blue vein, and so it's A Royal Christmas Fairy Tale, and it's by Karen Shaler. I don't know really what this is about, but it's giving me Prince Christmas vibes. It's definitely Hallmark vibes, which I am a huge fan of Hallmark when it comes to the holiday season. And this says it's a new Christmas romance about the power of believing in yourself and finding your happily ever after. So it takes place in a charming Christmas village. You've got a New Yorker who comes to England or Europe. She's on a holiday freelance assignment. Oh, she's a reporter. So you've got that element, you know, all the normal stuff that you expect from a Hallmark style movie. But I saw it. It was $1. It had Prince, I think, royalty in the title. And I said, okay, so did I need it? No. The cover, the chapter heads are absolutely beautiful. But yeah. We'll see. I don't know. It just looked fun. And then the rest are from that kind of like haul that I did. I went in for specifically 2 books, which are the next 2, and then I ended up getting a few more as well. It became my like contemporary romance haul, which I'm okay with. And the 2 that I went in were these 2 from Tessa Bailey, It Happened One Summer, and Hook, Line, and Sinker, which are both part of, I can't remember what it's called, the Bellinger series. I had to think about what their last name is. So it follows Piper and Hannah. In the first book, we have Piper, who is a party girl that gets in trouble one too many times, and her stepfather is like, I'm done bailing you out. So instead, I'm going to send you to the small fishing town where your dad is from, and he's got a bar there, and I've kind of been like sending money there for them to upkeep it, but I'm sending you there for a few months. And so her sister decides to go along with her, even though it's just Piper who's in trouble. And when she gets there, she immediately meets this guy named Brendan, who is a fish captain, and it's their romance, their situation. And then in Hook, Line, and Sinker, I've read this one, but I haven't read the second one. But the second one follows Hannah and this guy named Fox, who is Brendan's best friend. So we have a lot of interaction with them in the first book, but the second book is their romance situation. I don't actually know the plot behind that one. I think she has to come back to the town that, the fisherman town that this bar is in. But I read the first one on a whim, because it felt like a good summer book, and I read it at the beginning of August, and it was so good. I fell in love. So of course I had to go pick out my copies of this series, and my book warehouse had them because I saw them there previously, and so I was just really happy that they had their copies. So yes, this is the reason I went to that book warehouse and I picked them up, and I'm just so happy. I love Tessa Bailey. So I will leave a link to my wrap up if you'd like to see my thoughts on It Happened One Summer. I also was hoping this would be here, but I didn't think it actually would, so I was very excited when it was, and that is Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood, which is the most recent in her STEM romance collection, if you will. I won't say series because they don't really have to do with each other, except for that it follows a woman in STEM. So I've read the first two, which is The Love Hypothesis and Love on the Brain, which I loved both of those, and so of course I had to get the third one, and I just could not believe that it was there. This one follows our main characters Elsie and who is the guy? Jack. And it says they are rival physicists, and she, I think on the side, plays a girlfriend? Yeah, so she doesn't have a good paycheck, so she offers her services as fake girlfriends, tapping into her expertly honed people-pleasing skills to embody whichever version of herself the client needs. And then I think she ends up accidentally getting hired by Jack, who I think she works with, maybe? So I don't know the relationship there, but I love them. Look how cute they are on the cover. And I've loved the other two books so much by this author. So when I saw this, I was like, absolutely. I've been waiting for my audiobook from the library to come through so I can read this one because I'm very excited. And I love Ali Hazelwood. So I couldn't believe this was there, but it was, and it was a good day. The next one I picked up for a vlog. I mean, I had my eye on this one for a while, but I picked it up because I'm reading it, and you guys will hopefully see this by the end of the month. And that is The Roughest Draft, and this is by Emily Wibberley and Austin Sigmund Baroka. It is a romance for the books. This is part of my 12 books in 12 months vlog series that I'm doing. Hopefully I will get to this one in the next installment, which is why I picked it up. But they are this co-writing literary duo that 3 years ago were really, really great. They were on the horizon. They were like top bestsellers, and then I think some stuff went down and they ended their partnership on bad terms. But I think they have one more book in their contract, so they're forced to come back together and write together. So don't know what this one's about, but I do have another book by this author duo. I've read one of their YA books. They did a bunch of YA books that were inspired by Shakespeare in some way. I did enjoy that one, but I haven't read any of their adults, and I'm pretty sure this is their adult debut book, if I remember correctly. But I'm very excited. I've heard good things, so I saw it there, and I was like, well, I'll pick it up. Why not? And then the last book in this haul, yes, we're already down to the last book, is another one that I've had on my TBR for a very short period of time, actually, but it's the author's fault, and that is A Lady for a Duke, and that is by Alexis Hall. So this is the author who wrote Boyfriend Material, Husband Material. I've got an arc from this author that's coming out next month. I've kind of gone down a rabbit hole. I have many books by this author on my TBR, but this is one that I noticed he wrote a kind of a historical romance, and I haven't read any of his historical romances. It's pretty chunky. I think this author just really likes thick books because the other books are pretty chunky too. And so it says here, war tore them apart, chance brought them together, love could set them free. So you follow Viola and Justin, who's a duke, obviously, since it's in the title. Books that I've read by this author have all been male-male romances, but I've gone a little deep dive into this author's works, and most of them have queer romances in some way. I'm suspecting, based on the back of this that this is a trans romance. I'm not 100% sure, but it says here that Viola took an opportunity in the past to at last be herself, which makes me think that maybe she is trans, which is great. I would love to see a trans story. You guys know I love me some representation, but they reconnect 3 years after a war. They, I don't know, are different, but they reconnect, all that fun stuff. But I just look at this cover, absolutely beautiful. I'm obsessed with this book and I'm obsessed with this author. I love it. It came out, I think, relatively recently. This one came out last year, 2022. Oh, there's even a content warning at the front, so that's exciting. Oh, yep. So Viola is trans. It says so right here. It's talking about some content warnings when it comes to her transition. So just be wary of that going in if that is a trigger for you, but I am very excited about this story. I've never read a historical romance with a trans main character, I'm pretty sure. I've only ever read like contemporaries when it comes to that. I don't know, but I'm excited. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, this just got bumped up even higher on my TBR, but I found a copy and it's beautiful, so I picked it up. And that's it. That is a look at all of the books that I picked up in August. Not a whole lot to talk with you about today. Like I said, I've been trying to be better, so we'll see. But I think we did pretty good. Lots of contemporary romances. So as always, if you've read any of the books that I mentioned in today's video, please let me know your thoughts on them. I want to know all of your fun bookish things. Or if you are like me and you haul lots of things or just haul books, let me know what some of your most recent purchases are and what you are most excited to pick up on your TBR. Let me just know all of your bookish thoughts. I love conversing, so tell me all the things. But if you liked this video, and I very much hope that you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe down below if you'd like to be part of this awesome growing family. I've also got my social media down there as well as other fun bookish links, so be sure to check all that out, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!